Decapitalism. If I give you a gun, does it make you a murderer or a protector? Depends. Depends on how you use your firearms. Are you stealing or protecting? Are you destroying or creating? Likewise with the symbols of capital: stocks, bonds, land, and money. Some people would say that I have made you a capitalist if I give you the symbols of capital. But like guns, depends. Depends on how you use these symbols of capital. Do you increase or decrease the substance of capital? That is, human time. Capital comes from the Latin for head, capita. The heads of government meet at the Capitol. When we say income per capita, we mean more income per head. Like inflation, when economists say income per capita, we don't know what the hell they mean. They know the price of everything but the value of nothing. Stocks, bonds, land, and currency are symbols of how people have used their heads. Is one a capitalist if one misuses the symbols of capital to close down production and to cause unemployment? Should one be called a capitalist if one decapitalizes production and decapitates jobs? That is not capitalism. That is decapitalism, economic bloodshed. Decapitalism gives capitalism a bad name, giving rise to calls for revolution or comparing capitalism to a cancer. Capitalism does not exploit workers. Decapitalism exploits, cheats, lies, and steals. This is not a capitalist, if you are honest with your words. Only a fool, deserving no job, no health care, and no retirement, would respect without first re-inspecting if the wealthy person stole or created the wealth. For instance, buy all guts of maggots off. This pyramid of theft is not built on capitalism, but on decapitalism. Wall Street, is it capitalistic or decapitalistic? Look at the flow of money. 99% of the activity, people and money, has nothing to do with creating jobs except for their own, like their illegal counterparts, bank robbers. 99% of Wall Street is decapitalism. Wall Street is about symbols of wealth, liquidity rather than solid investments. Only if one is dishonest with one's words can one say there are investment banks. 99% of Wall Street activity is decapitalistic, divesting workers of their investments. Wall Street liquidity has drowned a lot of wage earners. When Wall Street raises money, does the currency create real current jobs or merely play the paper swapping game? As the Nasdaq bubble showed, Wall Streeters are legal lying robbers whose idea of raising capital is the factor. Get your hands up and give me your money. Wall Street, capital formation or capital deformation? Wall Street defames capitalism. On Wall Street, capitalism is a victim of identity theft. A lot of people know that the lotteries are a tax on the poor who don't know math. Sadly, few people know, let alone admit, that Wall Street is a tax on the middle class who ignore math. Was the Nasdaq a lie? No. Like Wall Street itself, the Nasdaq bubble was a whole library of lies. It is wrong to think Wall Street is a bigger gamble than Las Vegas. As the 2007 financial crisis showed, Wall Street bookies and dealers are corrupt. They stack the deck. For wage earner, Wall Street is not a gamble. For the average person, Wall Street burns up one's money, savings, and pension. The average person is blinded by the desire for and promise of getting something for nothing. Decapitalism takes many forms on Wall Street. The common denominator is politically favored people who are grossly overpaid by legally robbing the average jack in Jill through paper playing. Examples of decapitalism are IPOs, insiders fooling outsiders, stock options, also known as bastard stocks, tax shifts, and welfare. Stock options are like illegitimate kids whose father ignores financial responsibility. Thus, in all honesty, stock options should be called bastard stocks. As is well documented, monster stock options are given to incompetent executives and directors who ruin their corporations into bankruptcy. Since the symbol of capital are symbols of time, the CEO and directors are killing the time of workers and shareholders with stock options. The mother of all bastard stocks are IPOs, where a mass of bastard stocks are sold suddenly to the public. The real meaning of IPO is insiders fooling outsiders. Most IPOs are part of the privatized IPO flipping of corporations by private equity and hedge funds. Basically, churning a corporation, flippers buy and resell after recapitalizing the company at a greater number of shares. This is legal thievery. Consistently, IPO stock values dive as insiders trickle their bastard stocks into the savings and pensions of foolish wage earners. Seagate has been privatized, IPO'd several times, with a new one in the works, fall 2010. How can it claim an initial public offering? It is like a tart for a higher market price, telling each John that she is a virgin. Streetwalkers revirginate while Wall Streeters recapitalize. Both screw wage earners, the former for a few dollars and the latter for savings and pensions. Would it be wrong to call Seagate a Wall Street whore? Is it honest to say corporations have CEO, COO, CFOs, and CIOs? Or would the following be more appropriate? IPOs and bastard stocks are examples of classical inflation, more money chasing the same goods and services, with stocks being the money and assets being the goods and services. Bastard stocks are why stocks have not gained in dollar value as insiders keep printing themselves more shares. Tax cuts or tax shifts. If tax cuts benefit a few, then they are not tax cuts per capita. In fact, unfair tax cuts are a tax shift to those who are not cronies of the politician. The problem for the vast majority of people is not tax cuts, but unfair tax shifts. For many people thirsting for tax relief, political solutions are saltwater solutions. Most tax cuts are tax shifts. Consider how ending the inheritance tax benefited only 2% of estates. The missing taxes were shifted to the other 98%, most of whom were suckered into supporting no death tax. Fools! One cannot tax the dead, only bury them. One should tax scumnuts, something-for-nothing chasers, the inevitably spoiled brats whose parents leave them a rich, taxable estate for kids of poor mental states, e.g. Parasite Hilton. Decapitalism has its political twin, despotism. In principle and truth, democracy brings out the best in people's pride, and capitalism brings out the best in business profits. Why? Because the Latin origin of both profit and pride is pro esse, forward existence or time. Whenever democracy has died in history, it has been preceded by the decapitalistic accumulation of wealth by a few, welfare by depriving the many of capitalism per capita. On a per capita basis, the tax dole take per welfare recipient is less than the tax dole take per welfare recipient. More importantly, per capita is the losses per capita of the wells, as in, well, that's too bad. Welfare never put the middle class in the poorhouse without jobs, health care, and retirement. Welfare did. Republicans claim to be the champions of capitalism and the American way. Without needing a telescope, do the bare facts support their view of the universe? The financial reforms passed by the habitual politicians are like building an immigration fence on one border while 3 borders remain open with large vacancy and tourist wanted signs. The idea of educating people to avoid financial terrorism is like saying people can have better taxes if they learn the tax code, which no one, absolutely no one, knows. The financial system is broke because its basic principles are cracked. We can either keep piling band-aids on the economic bloodshed of capitalism, or we can implement honest capitalism in word and deed. It is your future that you are screwing up with greed, laziness, and ignorance. Decapitalism begins with economic bloodshed and ends with human bloodshed.